Why does Trump want Greenland? And can it be said that the US president has already lost the battle for the coldest island on the planet? Many people perceive Donald Trump's statements about the need to establish American control over Greenland as the eccentric antics of a politician accustomed to loud and provocative gestures, of a politician used to making loud and flamboyant gestures. However, in the logic of these statements themselves, he refers not to ideology, but to issues of military security and the strategic defense of the United States. In this context, Greenland is viewed not as a territory for expanding influence, but as an element of infrastructure in a hypothetical global conflict. In the event of a hypothetical nuclear war involving the United States, Russia, and China, Greenland would find itself at the very center of key processes. Thank you. The island is located in the Arctic, a region through which the shortest flight paths of intercontinental ballistic missiles between the major nuclear powers actually pass. It is precisely its geography that makes Greenland important in terms of early threat detection and missile defense. Hello, everyone. My name is Anastasiia Husarieva, and while you're liking and subscribing to our channel, I'll tell you why Greenland could play the most crucial role in a hypothetical world war, and possibly even in a nuclear war itself. So you give us a like and subscribe, and I'll give you the information. Let's go! Intercontinental ballistic missiles, no matter where they are launched from, travel along a ballistic trajectory through space, taking the shortest route to their target. For missiles launched from the territory of Russia or China towards the United States, the northern routes through the Arctic become the chosen trajectories. Similarly, missiles launched from the US towards Eurasia also pass through this region. For example, Russian missiles such as the Topol-M, launched from the Titishivo silo complex southeast of Moscow and aimed at American Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missile forces stationed at Minot, Malmstrom, and Warren Air Force bases, would fly high over Greenland. A similar route is possible for Chinese Dongfeng 31 missiles, launched from China's new silo fields, and aimed, thank you, at the eastern coast of the United States. It is precisely this factor that Donald Trump points to when discussing the island's role in the global security system. Speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, he noted that in the event of war, a significant portion of missile trajectories would pass over Greenland, making it a key point. Observation and response. Against this backdrop, Donald Trump links the island's strategic importance to the Golden Dome project, a multi-layered missile defense system that he calls vital for the security of the United States. According to him, the development of modern offensive and defensive weapons makes the issue of control over such territories especially relevant. These statements have caused serious concern, both among the residents of Greenland itself and among the United States allies in Europe. After all, this is about a semi-autonomous territory that is part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Nevertheless, from a military standpoint, Greenland has long held a special place in the architecture of nuclear deterrence and early warning, regardless of current political debates. A key element of the U.S. military presence in Greenland is the P2FIC space base. You can see it on your screens right now. It is the northernmost facility of the U.S. Department of Defense. Previously, it was known as Thule Air Base, but in 2023, it was given a Greenlandic name as a recognition of the indigenous people who were forcibly relocated during the construction of the base in 1953. In the first year, the base is located above the Arctic Circle and is approximately equidistant between Washington and Moscow. This location makes it critically important for monitoring the Arctic region, Russian territory, and potential flight paths of Chinese and Russian ballistic missiles aimed at the United States. It is here that one of the key elements of the American system is located: early warning of missile. At P2FIC, on this very base, a modernized early warning radar system has been deployed. The Upgrade Early Warning Radar, which is part of the corresponding complex known by the abbreviation BMEW, two SPARs. This dual-sided solid-state radar, the AN-PFS-132, is designed for the rapid detection and tracking of launches of intercontinental and sea-based ballistic missiles, including those launched from submarines. It transmits data to the NORAD command structure and the U.S. missile defense system. According to the U.S. Air Force, the radar is capable of covering a 240-degree sector. At distances of up to 5,500 kilometers, it can detect objects the size of a large car, even at its maximum range. This makes it possible to receive early warnings about a potential attack and gain additional time for decision-making at the highest political and military levels. As experts note, the time factor is the key element here. The earlier a missile launch is detected, the more opportunities there are to analyze the situation and, if necessary, deploy interception systems. Nuclear weapons analyst Pavel Podvig emphasizes that from this perspective, Greenland is an excellent location for deploying such systems. Observation. The Patufik Space Base operates under defense agreements between the United States and the Kingdom of Denmark. Greenland has a population of about 56,000 people, and the island's area exceeds 840,000 square miles, more than 80% of which is covered by an ice sheet. Despite the fact that the base is surrounded by ice for 9 months of the year, its airfield remains open and operational all year long. The facility is managed by the 821st Space Base Group, which is part of the Old Terping, Space Base Delta 1. In addition to early warning and missile defense missions, P2F1C plays the role of a platform for space surveillance, satellite management, Arctic training, and international scientific research. In this sense, the base has long been part of the global security infrastructure of the United States and its allies, regardless of the debates about Greenland's own status. Justifying the need for American control over Greenland, Donald Trump directly links the island to the multi-layered missile defense project, the Golden Dawn. According to him, modern offensive and defensive weapons systems make possession of such territories fundamentally important. In one of his statements, he emphasized that defense cannot be built on the basis of a lease, hinting that without full control over the territory, the system will not be able to function effectively. At the same time, defense experts point out the vulnerability of this logic. For decades, the United States has conducted military operations in Greenland without having actual sovereignty over the island. And at the same time, they successfully used the PITO-FIC space base as one of the key early warning nodes. A similar situation exists in other regions as well. For example, the early warning radar station at Fylingdales in northern England, operated by the Royal Air Force of the United Kingdom, serves both the British and, in particular, the American governments. And it provides monitoring of missile launches, especially along northern trajectories. At the same time, the issue of control over the trajectory towards the United Kingdom in the context of missile defense is not raised. French nuclear defense expert Etienne Marcus notes that the arguments about Greenland being vital for the Golden Dome are rather questionable. According to him, the system may include space-based sensors, which are already undergoing testing and deployment. This potentially reduces the United States' dependence on ground-based radar stations, including facilities in Greenland. In this context, the significance of the island for the future architecture of missile defense may be different than it was in the past. A separate aspect of Arctic security is related not so much to the possible seizure of territories as to the maritime dimension of nuclear deterrence. In the northern part of the Atlantic, there is the so-called bottleneck between Greenland, Iceland, and the United Kingdom. It is through this corridor that Russian submarines have traditionally tried to exit from the northern seas into the open Atlantic, where they can threaten NATO communications or keep cruise missiles at the ready. At the same time, according to Pentagon assessments, Russia's actual strategy in the Arctic is focused not on seizing Greenland, but on protecting its own nuclear fleet. The key region here is the Barents Sea and the Kola Peninsula, where a significant part of the naval component of Russia's nuclear triad is based. This region is considered the core of the so-called bastion. The logic of the bastion involves keeping strategic missile carriers in relatively controlled areas of the Arctic, protected by air and anti-submarine defenses, surface ships, and aviation. Visto. This model is intended to guarantee the ability to deliver a retaliatory strike, even in the event of an enemy's first strike. Thus, in modern strategic calculations, Greenland is not seen as an object of isolated political dispute, but as an element of a complex system of nuclear deterrence, early warning, and Arctic military logic, where the interests of the US, Russia, and China are intertwined. So that's the information as of now. Write to us in the comments. How do you see the future of Greenland? Well, we'll see you in our next broadcasts. My name is Anastasiia Husarieva. Take care of yourselves and wash your hands with soap. Bye bye, everyone.